Before we begin, I just want us to thank everyone who watched my videos in the month of August. August actually ended up being my most viewed month ever making videos on YouTube or any platform for that matter. In addition, August 31st happened to be the single most viewed day in my entire career as a video maker. So for everyone who's been watching my stuff this past month and even this entire past A&W season, I just want to say thank you all very much. And in addition, we are less than 100 away from hitting my 1,000 subscriber goal. And if we hit that goal, I promised that I would do a full playthrough as well as an unboxing of this uncommon Sasuke plug-and-play video game that features games for both Sasuke and Pro Sportsman #1. For those of you who are unaware, Sasuke is the original Japanese show that American Ninja Warrior is based on. I imagine most of my viewers are aware of that, but you always have some who might not be, so just wanted to point it out. But I've come up with another, I guess, sort of goal tier, so to speak. So as of when I'm recording this, I have about 75 subscribers left to go. And I decided to sort of sweeten the pot a little bit. If, and only if, we manage to hit the 1,000 subscribers in the month of September, in addition to playing this, I will let you, the viewer, choose which of these games I will do a playthrough afterwards. For those of you unaware, this is the entire collection of Ninja Warrior / Sasuke / Kinnikuin Banzai video games that were released in Japan. We have a handful for PS1, a GameCube, a couple of Game Boy Color, a few Game Boy Advance games, and a PS2 game. I will let you choose via a survey, a voting system, which one I will do a full playthrough of first. But that is only if we hit the subscriber goal in September. So if you have any friends who are interested in Ninja Warrior related content, let them know and tell them to subscribe to this channel. And if we hit 1,000 in the month of September, you guys will get to choose what I will play after I'm finished with that. Now, with that said, hello everyone, my name is William from 222 Productions, and I am here to talk to you about the American Ninja Warrior Season 11 National Finals in Las Vegas at the grammatically incorrect Mount Midoriyama, Stage 1, Part 2, in, well, however long I want, because it's Las Vegas, and there is no time limit, starting right now. So, this was another really good episode. I think last week I said, I kind of questioned the idea of whether or not this was the best Stage 1 A&W has ever done. When I say A&W, I'm strictly referring to the Vegas stuff. So A&W 1 through 3, 1, 2, and 3. 1 through 3 is what I said. That doesn't count because that's Sasuke, that's Japan, that's a different beast altogether. But in terms of what was done in Vegas, after watching both episodes, in terms of editing and in terms of the actual course itself, I have come to the conclusion that yes, this was, in all honesty, the best Stage 1 A&W has ever produced for Midoriyama. And one of the reasons is just because I have a full list of the full results, which I'll be talking about later. The failures are actually, there's a nice spread to it. Like, yes, it's true, no one failed the first obstacle, but that's fine. Like, everyone who made it here had to qualify, so you would expect to be of a higher caliber. Like, if you had the type of people who were running, the qualifiers in Vegas, you'd see more first obstacle fails. Absolutely. But outside of that, it's a pretty good spread, actually. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like this obstacle. There was no dominant ninja killer. The Double Dipper still had the most failures overall, but it wasn't like overwhelmingly dominant like last year. And there was no one obstacle that just destroyed everyone. It was a nice balance, and I really like that. I really like that about this episode. So, just a quick recap. Stage 1, Archer Alley, Spin Your Wheels, Double Dipper, Jumping Spider, Tire Run, Warped Wall, Diving Boards, and Twist and Fly. You have to do it all in 2.5 minutes or less, and then you'll be able to move on to stage 2. Let's talk about the actual episode itself. We started with Caleb Bergstrom, representing the two Bergstrom siblings. He was looking good. I wrote that he had a little slip on Tire Run, but he was able to recover, and he actually ended up going out on the diving boards, which was unfortunate, because he had a good run going for it, but he had a bit of a hard impact. One of the things I should mention, speaking of the diving boards, is that when they were reviewing the course, they had Sandy Zimmerman give a demonstration of the obstacle. So, similar to how they had Jake Murray do it, they had Sandy do it. I wonder how many takes with different competitors they did, because, like, what happens if Sandy failed, for example? Would they have her dry off and try again, or would they do someone else? I'm curious of how that worked out behind the scenes. But next they featured Nick Hansen, and one of the things that they mentioned was that 2 of the past 3 years he had timed out at the very end of the course. And basically the third year, which was 2 years ago, he didn't time out, but he cleared with very little time. So whole thing was like time management's a big issue. And he also mentioned that he went ice hopping to improve his balance. Had a bit of a close call on the middle tire of Tire Run. We're going to talk about Tire Run a lot. I think this episode really cemented that I really like the adjustments they made to Tire Run this year. Putting that big tire in the middle that you have to jump on and then jump off between handles, I think was really good. Was a really good decision to make. But Nick had to make a big save on the 4th diving board. He ended up getting tripped up, and he had to save himself, and it really looked like it might have knocked the wind out of him a little bit because of how he took it. And he ended up going out at Twist and Fly, ended up missing the net, and so once again he fell towards the end. He ended up falling there because he was running out of time, but it's unfortunate. 3 of the past 4 years, Nick got so close, but unable to move on to stage 2, and it's got to be frustrating. I feel for him because I want to see him do well. And then we had Taylor Amon, the pole vaulter who formerly was on College Madness, Team Ninja Warrior. And they talked about how she's starting a modeling career, but unfortunately she went out on the Jumping Spider. She almost completely missed the trampoline. She hit it at the very top, got like basically no bounce, and just went straight into the water. And yeah, it's unfortunate. You hate people to see people go out that way, but he just missed out. And then they showed Casey Suhaki. He spent a lot of time on Spin Your Wheels, and he wasn't going as fast as I would like him to. He seemed there's a few times where he seemed like he was taking too much time, maybe a little bit of showboating, but he ended up clearing with 4.34 seconds, and I believe, yes, that is the slowest clear time, so he almost didn't make it. He almost, sabotaged himself, but he was able to make it through. So it was kind of weird. It was kind of a weird run because I wasn't expecting him to clear just based on his movement, but he was able to make up for it and clear in the end. So good on him. Good on him for doing that. And then in some fast forwards, Garrett Lamb went out on Spin Your Wheels. I believe he's the one who face planted on the landing platform pretty hard. And the landing platform for that obstacle is not padded. It's a hard surface, so that looked quite painful. And then we had Caitlin Bergstrom failed the double dipper, and Scott Behrens failed. What did he fail? He failed the tire run, and unfortunately, looked like he had a hard landing. That's what I wrote. And then we had Tiana Weberly, and unfortunately, just I think time was one of the bigger issues. I wrote that she got stuck on the middle tire of Tire Run, and unfortunately, she just wasn't fast enough. She had 38 seconds left on the warped wall, and at that point, you really need to just get on your first try and then go for broke, but that just didn't happen. She went out at the warped wall after 4 failed attempts, But a good run for her overall, good season. Tiana did well in Vegas this time. Good on her. And then they had Seth Rogers, who I was very excited to see when I learned he was competing this year, because I remember him I've seen him in NNL competing, and I always saw him as a good up and comer who could possibly break out. And it's interesting because he failed both. He's one of those people who didn't hit any buzzers in regionals. And here he is, he got featured, and more importantly, he cleared the whole course. He had a close call on tire run. The tire slipped out from underneath him, the middle tire, but thanks to his height, he was able to recover and grab the second handle. But he ended up clearing with 7.4 seconds left, and this was just a really good moment to see this. I really enjoyed it. So good on you, Seth, for clearing. In more fast forwards, Matt Dulce failed Spin Your Wheels, and then in a heartbreaker, Julius Ferguson, aka Black Jules, failed the Jumping Spider, and then Dustin Rocho failed Twist and Fly when he missed the net. I believe he was rushing at the end, but because of time, it was unfortunate. And then we had Brian Burke, the Burkinator, and they gave him the feature run. I'm still wondering what's up with his mother's hair. Is it a wig? Is it her natural hair? I'm not sure. But unfortunately, he went out on the double dipper. He bounced off the landing pad. He stuck it, but then well, I wouldn't say he stuck it. He made it to the landing pad, but he had he let go too early because on the second bar he got like airborne. So when he landed, the impact tossed him off. And so he hit the landing pad, but fell backwards because he couldn't stick it. So he is out. And then is probably the biggest heartbreaker of stage one. Sean Bryan, the only man to reach stage 3 the past 2 seasons, dislocated his shoulder on the Jumping Spider. And this was painful to see in many ways. One, because you could see the shoulder go, but there was that moment of concern when he wasn't using his right arm. You can just see it dangling. On the other hand, it was also very impressive that he was able to get out of the Jumping Spider without falling in the water with only 3 limbs. But yeah, unfortunately, his shoulder popped out, and they were able to get it back in. That's good, but he's out. He's eliminated. He technically failed the Jumping Spider, and that sucks. That really sucks to see. Sean, many people, myself included, felt like Sean could have gone all the way and won the whole thing, but it just wasn't meant to be. At least not this time. That sucks. Best of luck to you, Sean. I hope you come back next year. Then we had Karsten Williams. So his profile is that he keeps failing stage 1. And more importantly, he keeps failing a different obstacle every time. So this was interesting. He almost failed tire run. Similar to Seth Rogers, his height really played an advantage to making that save on the middle tire. He was able to basically fingertip his way through. But in the end, he finally did it. He finally cleared with 10.08 seconds left. Karsten Williams moved on to stage 2. His mother was ecstatic. He was ecstatic. Everyone was ecstatic. It was great to see. Good on you, Karsten. I really enjoyed that. In more fast forwards, Matty Howard failed the double dipper. Anthony DeFranco timed out on Twist and Fly, and Dave Kavanaugh cleared. And this is the first time where they were able to fast forward him, so they chose to. On Instagram, I saw Dave write that in his fast forward segment, they showed all the good parts. He mentioned that there was like a lot of like wonkiness to his run. But yeah, you know what? Clear's a clear, no matter what. Clear is a clear. And then was Drew Drechsel. Now this was interesting, because this was like right in the middle, and I was like, huh. And I was trying to think to myself, normally they save Drew towards the end, but then I'm like, okay, obviously he didn't get the fastest time, so maybe they're just trying to mix it up a bit. That's fine. His profile talked about how he's going to become a dad because his girlfriend April is pregnant with their child, a baby boy, is coming in December. Congratulations to them. And then his run starts, and then it happens. On tire run, he gets to the middle tire, and as he's jumping, the middle tire spins out from underneath him, and he misses the second handle the same way Najee Richardson did. And I let out such a big scream. It is not often that I will have a loud reaction to someone failing. Usually it's just me going, oh, but I was very loud. I was like, oh my God, like very loud, very loud. I could not believe this. This is the first time Drew failed Vegas in stage 1. The last time he failed stage 1 in AEW was all the way back in AEW 3, back when it was in Japan, and that's only because he unfortunately injured his knee. And then, since then, with the exception of, I want to say AEW 6 was the one that he didn't qualify for Vegas, but every other time he's only ever failed stage 2 and stage 3. First time he failed stage 1, and he was forced to use his safety pass. And I was reminded of the Atlanta finals. Drew, when he won the safety pass, I didn't want to make a big deal of it at the time, but he made a comment along the lines of, Zuri was like, what are you going to do with the safety pass, or something like that. And Drew made a comment along the lines of, maybe I'll just jump into the water during stage 1. And I didn't really care for that comment, because it felt a bit, overconfident, a bit, I don't want to say arrogant, a bit too overconfident. And now, in hindsight, I bet you Drew was like, man, thank God I got that safety pass. Oh man, there's a part of me that when that failure happened, I just wanted to cut to someone in the audience who just turns to the camera and goes, bet you didn't see that coming, did you? Because yeah, I mean, Drew seemed like a shoo-in to clear stage 1, but even the top stars fail. Even the favorites fail. Even in his prime, now failed stage 1 sometimes, not often, but sometimes. Drew failed stage 1, and it was truly shocking. And he is thanking all his lucky stars that he was able to get that safety pass. And thank the producers for creating the safety pass this season. Thank Kevin Carbone for not being faster than him in the city finals power tower. Just thank everyone involved. He was saved, and he was not eliminated at stage 1. And we'd like to take this moment to interrupt this review for a special comment question. As previously mentioned, you should subscribe to this channel, 220 Productions, so you'll know when the new reviews come up, and also when you get to hear the special comment question of the episode. This one, I think, is a bit juicy that I came up with. I want you to tell me who is your number 1 American Ninja Warrior announcer / presenter, whatever you want to present it as. In the history of American Ninja Warrior, there have been 10 different people hired as either host or sideline reporter. Here are the order. Blair Herter, Allison Hayslip, Matt Eisman, Jimmy Smith, John Mosley, Angela Sun, Akbar Bajabiamila, Jen Brown, Christine Leahy, and Zuri Hall. I want you to take those 10 and pick the one person you like the most and why. I want you to give me the reason. I am very curious to see what the answers are, and you're only allowed one. None of this top 10 or top 5 stuff. No ties. I want one. If you write more than one name, you're disqualified. Okay? One name. Pick one. I'm forcing you to choose one. It'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing the results of this comment question, because I know people have opinions, so I want to see what you want to say. 10 people, one person. Let me know. Anyway, after that shocker, then we got Alyssa Beard. I believe they did a recap of her failing obstacle one last year, and how she's not going to do that this time. She was looking good for a while, and then she got to the middle tire of Tire Run, and basically what happened was she was running on top of it, it was spinning, But then it got to the end. There's a stopper on Tire Run, just to make it a little easier, just so it's not super difficult, because it would have took out a lot more people otherwise. The problem is, when it hit the end, because it was spinning so fast, it bounced and it started moving the other way, which caused her to fall backwards into the water. And I felt bad for her. Obviously it sucks to fail an obstacle. She was one of the, potential women to clear stage 1. On the other hand, if you're gonna fail, make it memorable. That was a memorable fall. It was kind of funny. Not gonna lie, it was actually pretty funny to see. Just her seeing her running all of a sudden. Woo! I felt bad for her, but like I said, if you're gonna fail spectacularly, be a bit memorable. It was memorable. It was a bit funny. So I'm sorry you failed, Alyssa. I don't know if you watch, but I know James watches at least sometimes. But it was a funny fall. But I would have preferred if you cleared. But at least you have that. And then we had Ben Udi, aka Chad Flexington. And so they did the whole America pro wrestler thing. It was fun. Unfortunately, similar to Sam Gray, the actual pro wrestler who competed last episode, he went out on the double dipper also, except he just straight up slipped off the second bar, didn't work out, and lost his hair in the pool. Which brings up the question, why didn't he dive down to get it? Was he not allowed to? Was he not aware it was missing? Did anyone get it at some point? Was it in there the whole time? I sure hope not. I hope he got his hair back. But yeah, hey, Chad, you were fun to watch. I appreciate you. I appreciate your persona, and you have skills. But unfortunately, that's the way it goes sometimes. No shame in failing the double dipper. Like I said, it was the most dangerous obstacle this season, for stage 1 at least. And then we had some more fast forwards. Verdale Benson failed the double dipper, and then Tyler Smith cleared the whole course. And in a shocking fast forward segment, Joe Morosky cleared the course. I'm shocked that they fast forward him, especially because they could have played up the whole, will he get past on the double dipper this time? Get revenge on the obstacle that took him out last year, and they just fast forward. I can't remember the last time they fast forward him. It might have been the first time he competed in A&W, because he has been a consistent mainstay in getting featured on the show. So I think him getting fast forward was just shocking, quite frankly, just very shocking. Almost more shocking than Drew failing. Not completely. I'd still say Drew failing was more shocking, but this was very surprising. And then they had the big dog, Jody Avila. Oh, man. I miss saying that. Oh, I love saying that so much. The big dog, Jody Avila. I didn't write this down, but I actually remember it. They had a whole profile piece about how the big dog ninja is actually afraid of dogs, which means Akbar really missed the mark when he called Jody the big dog ninja. I just love it. Jody, I do it out of love, man. I just love saying, big dog! Big dog, big dog, big dog ninja. I gotta get it all out because unfortunately he failed Tire Run. Big dog ninja. He went out, his son escorted him to the starting line, gave him some hints. Unfortunately, I guess his son didn't inform him about the middle tire of Tire Run. He slipped out like what happened with a bunch of other people and missed the second handle, which is surprising because he's tall. So I thought, similar to like how Seth Rogers and Carson Williams were able to save it, I was surprised to see he wasn't able to save it. But unfortunately, the big dog ninja got all wet this time around, and he is out. So long, big dog ninja. See you next year, or at possibly the A&W All-Star Special. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what happened in any of those. So we'll have to see. But it's been an honor. And then we had Ethan Swanson get featured, and oh boy, he sure was fast. He beat Daniel's guild time and cleared with 41.27 seconds left. It was just very efficient. You know, sometimes when someone gets a fast run, it doesn't even look like they're trying to go fast. They're just not wasting a lot of time in between obstacles. There's not like a lot of resting or anything like that. Honestly, like, when it comes to Ninja Warrior, what you do in between the obstacles is just as important as what you do during the obstacles, because you can waste a lot of time in between. If you're efficient and not taking super long breaks, you don't have to worry about the clock as much. So, good on you, Ethan. It was very impressive. Very impressive. He'll actually end up finishing with the second fastest run overall of Stage 1. And then comes the we're running out of time, but we have more clears to show fast forward segment. Alex Blick cleared the course. Josh Salinas cleared the course. Hunter Gerard cleared the course. And Tyler Gillette cleared the course. And then they had Grant McCartney, who I bet you was super happy to finally make it back to Vegas after failing to the past 2 years. Once again, rocking the jorts look, which, love that. Big fan of that, Grant. You keep rocking that look. I like that look. Was a bit close on the middle tire. I wrote he had 50 seconds left on the warped wall, so he was cutting a bit close, but ended up clearing with 6.56 seconds left. I was super happy to see him. I like this new Grant, who doesn't take time for granted, for lack of a better word. I realized what I was saying as I was saying it. Basically, he's respecting the clock. He's not, doing anything that might waste time. I like that. Good on you, Grant. You're moving on to Stage 2. And then in the final fast forward segment, Jeff Harris failed the double dipper. Ben Wales cleared the course, and Michael Torres cleared the course, meaning that I have to take that back because of... Anyway, and then we had Jesse Graff, who they featured, had a big, glad to come back. Unfortunately, it just didn't play out the way that I think a lot of us hoped. She got stuck on spin your wheels for a little bit, and then she failed double dipper. She completely missed the second bar. She went for the reverse grip, which is what she does for everything that involves a bar, but she just completely missed it. Like, the bar's right here, and just, it was a complete whiff. And she went down, and it's unfortunate. Her interview was interesting. She seemed a bit, I don't know, maybe confused, or something. It was something about her interview seemed a bit off, but maybe it was just the shock of failing there. You never know. You never know what's going on in people's heads. And then they had the rerun of Drew Drechsel, who was obviously happened very late in the night because you can see the sun coming up in the background. But Drew basically made sure to not fail the tire run again, and he was able to clear the whole course this time around in 20.25 seconds left on the clock. Could you imagine the reaction if Drew failed Stage 1 twice? That would have been something. That would have been something. But when he cleared the course, you could tell he was still frustrated with himself because he said something along the lines of, "Why couldn't I have done that the first time around?" And so, he would have liked to have the safety pass for Stage 2 because he's not perfect on Stage 2. He has failed a couple of times. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. He doesn't have that safety net anymore. But he can still do it. He's proven that he's cleared Stage 2 before. And then the final runner was a Matisse Awadi, and it's like I've said last year, last run of Stage 1 is always the least surprising thing that they could show because it's always the fastest run, unless Casey is involved, except for the A&W 6 where they had Casey go on last. And I think like A&W 4 because they actually showed things. Basically, when it comes to recent memory, they're saving the final run is always the fastest clear, and you got to give it up to Matisse. I know I've mentioned in the past that A&W producers have basically put him on a pedestal, seemingly before he fully proved himself to the viewing audience, but he just looked really good on the course. He cleared, and he made it look easy. He didn't look like he was necessarily rushing it. He had a very natural look to the way that he cleared the course, and he looked good. He cleared the course, 51.78 seconds left, beat Ethan Swanson by a little over 10 seconds. Very impressive. So let's go through the full results. I have the full results of Stage 1 as well as this episode. So a total of 86 people took on Stage 1. in this episode, we had 18 runs shown in full, and giving us a total of 35 runs between the two episodes. 19 fast forwards in this episode, giving us a total of also 35 between both episodes, which means, unfortunately, 16 people got cut completely and weren't shown, and some of them were honestly pretty surprising. Some of the cuts I thought were very surprising that they didn't show at all. So, let's break down the full results so you know where exactly every competitor failed. As soon as I take this swig. I've been talking for too long. So no one failed Archer Alley, which is fine. It's the first obstacle. It's okay. We had 11 people fail Spin Your Wheels with Brett Sims, Brian Burkholt, who got cut, Brian Critch, David Moonen, who got cut, Garrett Lamb, Hunter Swan, who got cut, Jessica Clayton, Jody Friedman, who got cut, Matt Dolce, Michelle Warnke, and Nick Forney. And then we had 15 people fail the Double Dipper, which was the largest of all the obstacles. Partially because it's challenging, partially because it's still early in the course. Those 15 people were Anna Shoemaker, Ben Udi, Brian Burke, Caitlin Bergstrom, Chris Wilczewski, who got cut. What? Why would you cut Chris? Man, Chris, you got a raw deal this year. You got fast forwarded twice, and then you got cut. It's like the producers thought that just because this was an odd season, you would automatically not make it to Vegas, and then failed to realize that you actually did make it to Vegas. So that sucks. We also had Demir Okanovic, who was also cut, Jeff Harris, Jesse Graff, Joe Campiano, who got cut, Carter Olson, Kendall Ortiz, who got cut, Matty Howard, Scott Wilson, who got cut, which is surprising because he's a mega wall clearer, Sam Garay, and Verdale Benson. And then we had 6 people fail the Jumping Spider, with Dan Yeager, who got cut, despite making the Power Tower in the Seattle-Tacoma Finals, as well as Julius Ferguson, Lucio Batista, Philip Scott, Sean Bryan, and Taylor Amon. And then we had 8 people fail Tire Run. None of them got cut, by the way. And Alyssa Beard, Connor Galvin, David Wright, Drew Drechsel, Jody Avila, Najee Richardson, Ronald Washington, and Scott Behrens. And then we had 3 people fail the Warped Wall. Yes, you heard that right. 3 people. In Barclay Stockett, Kenny Nematello, who got cut, which is surprising because they really like promoting the whole kidney thing, helping children get kidneys, and to cut him completely was surprising and kind of goes against their messaging. Also, I think I would have liked it if they had just shown him, even a fast forward segment, I would have liked it if they just shown him just because it'd be nice to see that men can fail at the Warped Wall too, instead of just 2 women, because the other failure is Tiana Webberly. And then we had 8 people fail the diving boards in Brandon McWilliams, who got cut, Brendan Mears, Caleb Aror, Caleb Bergstrom, Flip Rodriguez, Mike Salinzi, who got cut, Travis Rosen, and Trevor West, who also got cut. And finally, we had 9 people fail Twist and Fly in Anthony DeFranco, Danielle Leva, David Campbell, Dustin Rocho, Jesse Lebrecht, Kevin Bull, Nick Hansen, Sean Donnelly Hanneman, who got cut, and Zach Scholes, who got cut. That means 28 people cleared the course overall. So from fastest to slowest, we have Matisse Kid Owadi, Ethan Swanson, Daniel Gill, Tyler Smith, Adam Rail, Josh Salinas, Lucas Rielli, Tyler Gillette, Drew Drechsel, who had to use his safety pass in Stage 1, Joe Morosky, Kevin Carbone, Michael Torres, Hunter Gerard, Dave Kavanaugh, Flip Rodriguez, who also had to use his safety pass, Alex Blick, Nate Burkhalter, Ben Wales, Carson Williams, Ryan Stratus, Chris DeGangi, RJ Roman, Dan Polizzi, Seth Rogers, Grant McCartney, Carson Voiles, Lauren Ball, and Casey Suhaki. So 28 people made it through. 4 of them still have their safety pass moving into Stage 2. And next episode, we'll be reviewing Stage 2. And judging by the preview, it seems like it's going to be the entire episode is going to be Stage 2, which is really cool to see. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing the changes. I hope that they tone down the difficulty because I think, the past couple of years, a little too difficult, a little too long, a little too slow. I'd like them to speed up a bit, but hopefully We'll have to wait and see what they do. I've heard some things, not going to say them just yet, but thank you all very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more content just like this, and so you know when the new videos come up, as well as the possibility of getting to vote on the next Ninja Warrior playthrough that I do after I do the playthrough of this, if we hit 1,000 subscribers. And thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Later.